music disappeared on me.
The music's what? You can't hear the music?
Not anymore.
Oh. Let's see. Hear it now?
Mm-mm. All I did was push to rename, and when I renamed it Nancy, then the music stopped. So I don't know if it's something I did.
I don't know. We'll ask Scuba Chris.
Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Good morning.
Are you hearing the music and seeing the slides?
Yes, I am.
Oh, fantastic. I guess it's just you, Nancy.
I swiped right so I could see everybody. And when I go back to the slides, I hear the music.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. You're coming up to join us next week, right, Chris?
Yeah, yes, I am.
All right. And you're coming in from Florida?
Yes, I can barely hear you over the music, though.
Okay. Yeah, let me work on that.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to driving through Atlanta twice, but
Better with the sound?
yes, it is.
Okay. When you say twice, it means up and back then?
That's right.
Both ways. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard Atlanta. I've only been in Atlanta once, and I remember the traffic was pretty challenging.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, midday going up will be easy. Coming home Sunday afternoon is going to be challenging.
There's just no way to avoid that, huh? That's the way through to Florida.
Well,
through Atlanta.
if I cut over through Alabama, but who wants to drive through Alabama?
When are you planning on getting up here?
I'm going to come up
Friday.
I'm going to try and get there Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. That way I'm not all tired and stressed from a 12-hour drive.
And are you camping, or are you getting one of the glamping sites?
Camping.
Okay.
Courtney says we're going to talk about it on the call on Monday, but I'm a little curious to where exactly we set up. Looking at the map of Barren River and the pictures of past ceremonies, it looks like you're down next to the river.
Generally, that's where we try to be. Yes.
Okay. See, I've got my tent attaches to the back of my car. Is the two-wheel drive car in and out okay there?
Generally, what kind of car are you driving?
Kia Soul.
Yeah, generally it's not a problem. I've seen all kinds of different cars go up and down, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. Yeah, the only time it gets dicey at all is when the weather changes and it starts getting wet.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a little more challenging.
Yeah, I've been looking at the long term. It looks like it's going to be moist on Thursday, but the rest of the weekend looks like it's pretty much solid high pressure.
Oh, nice. That'll be a nice change from last time. Oh, nice background, Rex.
Where's the on ceremony day? Where's everyone? Where's it happening at on the property?
Generally, we'll be right down there by the river.
Yeah,
we'll just stay right there. Yeah. It's It's a nice shaded, well, there's plenty of shade there.
Yeah.
Some people always end up seem to be out in the sun.
Right.
And depending on the temperature, that can be just fine, or it can be a little much. But we have we have shades and whatnot that we try to employ if needed. And people
Cool.
can always get up and move too.
Yeah.
Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Courtney.
Hello, hello. Good morning. It's good to be here with y'all.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are at 10 o'clock. So let's get this thing started. Welcome to Sanctuary Sunday service. We will begin shortly. We would love if you would share where you're joining us from in the chat. And if you're new to our community, how did you hear about us? Join us on Zoom for full participation at sanctuary.org.
Right. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome, everyone. I know we have folks that are trickling in still and probably will be for the next 10 minutes or so. So thank you for being here early on this late summer morning. I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of starting to dream about autumn. So I'm having to bring myself back to, as I was telling my daughter yesterday walking into the store when she said, "Mom, doesn't it sound nice to just have a cold day and curl up by the fire with some hot chocolate?" And I was like, "Oh, girl, you are speaking my language, but let's just enjoy the sun because soon we won't be getting much of it on our skin." So that's me this morning. Thanks for tuning in when you could be outside walking around. Maybe you are. But thanks for being here on Zoom.
Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you are here. Our vision and mission at Sanctuary is to live in a world with supportive and joyful communities, empowered to discover our own divinity with sacred mushrooms and with each other. Our mission and vision are solely supported by the generosity of our members. Your donations are essential to the continuance of our community. If you value what Sanctuary brings to the world, we ask that you donate at sanctuary.org/donate today. Take a moment now to arrive and get comfortable. I have a couple announcements for you all. Current level 1 trainees and level 1 alumni members are invited to join Eric this Tuesday, August 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern for this month's coaching call, From Insight to Practice, Turning Revelation into a Way of Living. Together we'll explore the hardest step, translating a felt truth into a concrete daily practice that you can realistically stick to. And Women's Virtual Vision Board Workshop. We all go through periods of stuckness and craving more in our lives, and our Thursday evening Women's Vision Board Workshop is the perfect place to be in good company and move that energy that's asking for a little boost. This is a way to intentionally close out the summer season and step into autumn. Courtney will guide a future self-meditation, followed by a collective creation of a group vision board. Find details for all upcoming events on our Sanctuary calendar on Mighty Networks.
All right. So this meditation this morning is honing in on cultivating gratitude. I'm going to give a little bit of context on it before we dive in to the meditation. It was inspired by Rav Kotz. He's a world-renowned Kabbalah teacher that I really enjoy listening to his messages on YouTube. And I did this meditation a couple weeks ago, and it really lit up my heart. So I wanted to bring it here. So I'm assuming that everyone here would like to learn and have a more fulfilling, enjoyable life. But how many of us really consciously practice the art of receiving? Kabbalah, and I know many of us here who've been attending Sunday service regularly over the last few years have been hearing this term, Kabbalah, more and more. Kabbalah literally means to receive. So that's what this meditation is focused on, is cultivating receiving. So as I give a little bit more context before we dive in, please go ahead and drop in the chat, if you're able to, something that you are grateful for today. Something that you're authentically grateful for today. It can be something really small or something that feels really big, whatever feels right for you. So while you're doing that, I'm going to share a little bit more on this meditation. So it can feel, when we think about receiving, like that feeling of receiving, that can be hard. It can be pretty challenging to receive, actually open up and receive, because most of us are more comfortable being in control, leading a situation and knowing what's going to happen, and being more in that yang state. But there's this beauty, this femininity and softness and wonder to receiving, and a real power in that openness of receiving. And there's reasons why it's hard for us to receive, because receiving is about trust. We've opened up before and wanted to receive and found ourselves hurt. And it's quite hard to learn how to trust and open up after we've been hurt. When our heart has been open and we've wanted to receive, and then we've been hurt, maybe we felt betrayed and disappointed. And then we need to go back and reconstruct and heal that. So our capacity to receive defines our capacity to have blessings and miracles, so to speak, in our life. The more that we can receive, the more that we can realize and see these blessings, these wonderful things in our life. Sages across many different teachings and cultures teach us that source, creator, God, the all, wants to give us every kind of blessing imaginable. But we need to learn the art of actually receiving that blessing and letting it in. This is such a huge lesson in the mushroom space as well. And one of the most important ways that we can learn to receive is to learn to cultivate gratitude, which is the mechanism of recognizing that we are indeed being granted good, recognizing that we are blessed with the good. And a lot of people are not grateful because it's hard to be grateful. It's hard to truly turn to our spouse and our children and our friends and say, like, open up with our heart and say, like, thank you, like from the bottom of our heart, like really meet another person in that connection and gratitude. This practice really turns our heart to be open to receiving that love and receiving the blessings. So in this meditation, we're going to use certain techniques where we're focusing on gratitude as a way to not be in a good mood or increase our sense of well-being, but rather to increase and open our capacity, strengthen our vessel, our physical, energetic vessel's ability to receive the goodness that source is trying to get to us. So in the last part of this meditation, once we're a little more open and receptive, then we have an invitation to ask from source, that we've recognized that source is good to us, to ask for that, to ask for those blessings and ask for strength in receiving those blessings. So as we begin, I want you to just go ahead and think of now a couple of moments in your life, or just one, where you have felt profound gratitude. So just start with one moment before we close our eyes and go into this. Just let that memory of a time where you felt profound gratitude come to you. Even if it's just a feeling that's starting to come up, just begin to let that simmer. And then the second thing I want you to recall is a time in your life when someone was grateful to you. someone turned towards you and authentically thanked you, and you could really feel how grateful they were for something that you brought to their life. All right, and now let's all together sit up straight and uncross your arms and legs if they're crossed. Please put your feet on the ground if you're able to. Let your hands rest in a comfortable spot. And close your eyes or soften your gaze. We're going to go on a little journey into our hearts and our soul. So allow yourself to settle in. Allow your shoulders to drop. You can lift your tongue up to the roof of your palate. Just gently touch them together. And this allows your jaw to relax a little bit more, your mouth to soften. And start to sense warmth surrounding your body, like an energetic warmth that's beginning to flood in to your body, flood in through your head and your chest, your stomach, legs, and feet. Feel and see, if you're able to, with your mind's eye, waves of golden warmth, just continuing to flow through your body. You can see this warmth coming from above you, from the heavens, so to speak. You can see it flowing in from the earth, from below you, just nourishing your body, providing this constant stream of warmth. Tune into the knowing that we are all here, all of us here on this Sunday service Zoom call are all actually connected together. And beyond that, whether you're here live or maybe you're listening in the future from the live stream recording, all outside of space and time, in our essence, by participating today, right here, we are all united together. And I invite you to put forth an intention that everyone that's here together, everyone in this space listening to my voice now, is receiving an influx of warmth and abundance in their life just by simply tuning in to that abundance that's constantly flowing in to our space in this moment. See and feel that we are all one, connected together. And through that, we create a greater vessel to collectively receive all it is that Source wants to give us. feel and see this golden warmth and light above our heads, below our feet, just enveloping like a warm hug, this collective energy of this group. Now begin to bring up that first feeling of gratitude for something in your life, something that you've experienced profound gratitude for in your life. Show yourself a little movie in your imagination of that experience that you have profound gratitude for. You can just keep rewinding it and playing it again. What does it look like? What does it feel like if you were to touch it? What sounds are there? Really be there in that gratitude, replaying. Now bring yourself to that memory of someone having profound gratitude for you. A moment when someone really thanked you with all of their heart. Maybe you did something of service for them, or you showed up in some way that they deeply appreciated. Really take a moment to witness that depth of gratitude. Notice how it feels after you've been acknowledged, even if it's a small thing. You can rewind it, play it again, and just allow yourself to feel that person really seeing you and appreciating you. Now let's turn towards that thing that maybe you put it in the chat, that thing that you're grateful for today, small or big. And tune into that present moment, feeling of gratitude. And begin to cycle through these different experiences of gratitude, one playing right after the other, going from this feeling of what you're grateful for right now, today, moving into something that you've been profoundly grateful for in your life, and then cycling to someone being grateful for you and how you've shown up. And just revisit each one, just taking a handful of seconds to cycle through each memory, each experience of gratitude. Now turn your conscious attention to the knowing that each of these moments was brought to you by the ineffable source of creation, a gift to experience the feeling, that raw feeling of receiving. And that we can turn our conscious attention to this experience of orienting our focus and our awareness towards the gifts that we are given. And I invite you to open your heart to thank Source, the All, God, the Tao, however you want to term that source of creation, for everything that you're given as a gift. Let's take one more moment together before we close out to send an intention or a prayer for ourselves and the whole group that's present here right now. For everyone here to receive strength, to be able to receive abundance, joy, peace, guidance, blessings in all areas of our lives. Now let's begin to close out together, bringing this gratitude with us into the rest of our service today. I'm going to count backwards from 10 to come back. 10, 9, 8, coming back into this space together. 7, 6, 5, coming back into the physical room that you're in. 4, 3, coming back to the chair. 2, 1, coming back into your bodies, taking a couple of intentional breaths, blinking your eyes open. You can rub your hands together, look around the room, come back to the Zoom room. Thank you so much for being present during that longer meditation today.
Let us now, I'll take a few moments to send loving intentions to our sacrament and to all who cultivate or commune with these sacred mushrooms. Without these gifts of our Creator and the communion of our members, this community would not exist. Through intention and attention, we use our ever-expanding awareness to bring greater peace to our world. May we radiate gratitude from our hearts to our Creator, our community, and those who nurture and grow our sacrament. Through communion with the mushroom, we are reminded that we live in all things, that all things live in us. Thank you, everyone. For more than 2,500 years, Tao Te Ching has offered guidance and insight to the paradox of existence. Because this paradox is so often encountered when communing with our sacrament, we turn to this short book as our primary sacred text. For further explanation beyond this service, you are invited to our YouTube channel, where Courtney and Eric explore each passage in greater depth.
Okay, this is verse 33, translated by J.H. MacDonald. Those who know others are intelligent. Those who know themselves are truly wise. Those who master others are strong. Those who master themselves have true power. Those who know they have enough are truly wealthy. Those who persist will reach their goal. Those who keep their course have a strong will. Those who embrace death will not perish, but will have life everlasting. Oh,
Am I missing a step here, Courtney?
oh, this is me. All right, everybody. We're still adjusting to the new script. All right. This is a excerpt from a book that I've been diving into recently through many inspirations to do so. It's called In Search of the Miraculous, The Teachings of G.I. Gurdjieff, written by one of his students, P.D. Ouspensky. This was written in 1949. Above all, in order to do what is difficult, one must first learn to do what is easy. One cannot begin with the most difficult. There was a question about war. How to stop wars? Wars cannot be stopped. War is the result of the slavery in which men live. Strictly speaking, men are not to blame for war. War is due to cosmic forces, to planetary influences. But in men, there is no resistance whatever against those influences, and there cannot be any, because men are slaves. If they were men and were capable of doing, they would be able to resist these influences and refrain from killing one another. But surely those who realize this can do something, said the man who had asked the question about war. If a sufficient number of men came to a definite conclusion that there should be no war, could they not influence others? Those who dislike war have been trying to do so almost since the creation of the world, said Gurdjieff. And yet, there has never been such a war as the present. Wars are not decreasing, they are increasing. And war cannot be stopped by ordinary means. All these theories about universal peace, about peace conferences, and so on, are again simply laziness and hypocrisy. Men do not want to think about themselves, do not want to work on themselves, but think of how to make other people do what they want. If a sufficient number of people who wanted to stop war really did gather together, they would first of all begin by making war upon those who disagreed with them. And it is still more certain that they would make war on people who also want to stop war, but in another way. And so they would fight. Men are what they are, and they cannot be different. War has many causes that are unknown to us. Some causes are in men themselves, and others are outside of them. One must begin with the causes that are in man himself. How can he be independent of the external influences of great cosmic forces when he is the slave of everything that surrounds him? He's controlled by everything around him. If he becomes free from things, he may then become free from planetary influences. Freedom, liberation, this must be the aim of man, to become free, to be liberated from slavery. This is what a man ought to strive for when he becomes even a little conscious of his position. There is nothing else for him, and nothing else is possible so long as he remains a slave, both inwardly and outwardly. He cannot cease to be a slave outwardly while he remains a slave inwardly. Therefore, in order to become free, man must gain inner freedom. The first reason for man's inner slavery is his ignorance, and above all, his ignorance of himself. Without self-knowledge, without understanding the working and functions of his machine, man cannot be free. He cannot govern himself, and he will always remain a slave and the plaything of the forces acting upon him. This is why in all ancient teachings, the first demand at the beginning of the way to liberation was know thyself. So let's take some moments here, 5 minutes, to reflect on both the Tao verse and this excerpt that I selected from In Search of the Miraculous. Here's some prompts to get you going, which we'll bring into discussion time after the live stream ends. First, what is something meaningful that you've learned about yourself recently? This could be in the form of something you value, something that your heart desires, or something else. And secondly, when you imagine a state of inner mastery, as the Tao speaks to as true power, what does that look and feel like to you? And Stephen will also be putting these, all these things in the chat. Thank you, Stephen. It's a lot to copy and paste, but you'll see that in the chat here shortly. And let's begin with journal time, 5 minutes.
Got about 1 minute, everybody.
All right.
Think you're up.
Thank you, everyone. Could you go to the next slide, I believe? Okay, cool. So, I'm going to try and keep this brief, a little context on Gurdjieff, and this book. Gurdjieff is, he's kind of a zany fella if you've studied him at all in his work. He didn't really write much down from my understanding, so that's why he had somebody like P.D. Ouspensky, one of his students, who was also a world-renowned speaker, write down a lot of his teachings. And this excerpt was from one of his lectures, quote unquote lectures, teachings, that he gave to a group of students, where one guy is inquiring about war, and he's coming back to this, if we can just, this idea that if we can just know ourself in a lifetime, that would be like more of an accomplishment than most of us will ever achieve, let alone being able to like know how to really have impact on the world outside of ourself. Like, it's just such a big task to even really know ourselves personally. And the Tao is speaking to this, I think, as well. There's such great power in studying ourselves and knowing who it is that we are. And when I read these teachings, I think of the old Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as without, so within. Basically saying that if we can know what's happening within ourselves, then we are simply a reflection of the world around us, and vice versa. So I was thinking, as I was journaling with these prompts, just reflecting on the state of my own household in the last couple of weeks, as we are back in school season. It's a big transition for our family. And there's been some warring in our house. There's been some cringiness going on in our house. And I was reflecting on quite a few moments that I've had where I have been looking outside of me for others to change, looking at Eric, to my husband, to, if he would just do this, then we could stop this argument, or like we could move on if he would just change his way. And then realizing like, okay, maybe I need to take a look at myself. Or if my kids would just listen to me and go to bed on time and wake up at 5 and 9 years old when they're supposed to, we could get to school on time, and on and on and on, extending out to my parents, extending out to so many things outside of me. So with the reflection question, just really coming back to what is it that's really like, what is my purpose? What am I being guided to turn towards within myself in my life? And that's led me towards like realizing in the last couple of weeks that I need to take care of myself. That's been a big message for me personally. It's time for me to get myself healthy physically, like work out again, eat better, really nourish myself, get up earlier so I can sit in peace and stretch and meditate. And I want to say miraculously, but it's really not so miraculous that as I've done this in the last week, and I've been looking at, what can I personally do? What am I capable of doing to bring wholeness back into my life? That's important to me. As I've been doing that and actually taking action, working out, getting up earlier, meditating, stretching, going on jogs, there has been a shift in my family, in my home. So I'd love to hear from you all. We'll shortly move into discussion after we look at our agreements that we practice together as a community. And I'd love to explore what's coming up for you with these reflection questions. And Stephen's bringing back up the slides.
He's trying.
He's doing it. Is this me?
Okay.
Or you?
No, this is me.
Okay.
All right. As we move toward discussion, we ground ourselves in a few shared agreements. Welcome everything. Check your assumptions. Own your experience. Reveal your experience. Honor self and other. And confidentiality by request. For those of us on YouTube, today's discussion will not be live on the stream. We invite you to continue the conversation by joining us on Zoom through the link at psanctuary.org. And again, our community is supported through donations from our members and anyone who supports our mission. You are encouraged to make a contribution by visiting our website through one of the links in the chat. For those on Zoom, we will now begin our discussion.
Okay, so